Everybody, it's Michael from Replica Airguns and Get Fit Over 40. Now I'm making this video mainly for the Replica Airguns channel because you may be wondering what happened to me. Where did I go? Over on the getfitover40.com channel, I do add a lot more personal stuff in there. And so I have been updating the viewers on that channel as to what's going on as much as I possibly can, because it's been a little bit tough considering what I just went through. So I'll give you just basically the summary and then we'll talk a little bit more. So I've been in the hospital for about a month. Went in there a month ago with some shortness of breath, a little bit of like pressure in my chest, not in my chest, but in my diaphragm area. And this was at 1:30 in the morning on a Sunday, and ended up staying in the hospital for a month. And because I had a heart issue. And so I had to get all these tests, and I was in the Langley Hospital for just under a week, like 5 days. And then I was in the St. Paul's Hospital where I went for heart surgery. Yeah, can you believe it? Open heart surgery to fix a congenital valve defect, something I was born with. So basically, instead of having 3 flaps, I had 2. It's like a whatever. Anyways, they had to replace the valve. And then above the valve, there's the aortic root, and above that is a little bit of an area where the valve, where the artery sort of splits into different tracts, and that whole area was aneurysm, so it was like a balloon. So the root should have been about 3 centimeters in diameter, and mine was like 6 centimeters in diameter. And so, yeah, it was open heart surgery, and because of all that, and because I'm a pretty intense person, walking, been doing boot camps and CrossFit, bike riding, weight training all the time. And I didn't even know this was going on. I didn't know I had this genetic problem. So my heart was basically having to work harder and harder and harder to make up for the valve that was defective, that was basically leaking blood back into the heart. So every time my heart pumped, it wouldn't pump nearly as much as it should be because the valve would let a bunch of blood come back in. It's very efficient. So because of that, my heart essentially was enlarged, quite enlarged. So my heart, I forget what the name of it is, but basically my heart itself is only about sub 20% efficient. So the actual heart, that's not the valve and everything, it's just the heart. Because it's enlarged, and now because it's enlarged, it just doesn't work as well. Believe it or not, too large a heart can become inefficient. It just doesn't have the flexibility of a smaller heart. The valve's been replaced now, open heart surgery. I'll show you maybe another time. I got marks all over me. My chest is just a mess. I've also got a pacemaker now too. Yeah, I've lost about 15 pounds since I went into the hospital. It's been a real tough go. And so essentially with this valve replacement, my heart should come back to a more normal percentage of pumping. And you might think normal is like 80%, but it's not. It's actually between 50 and 60%. And I was a little surprised to hear that, but 60% is actually pretty good. So if I can get to 40 to 50%, when I was basically doing most of what I was normally doing with about 20% heart efficiency, then I should feel a lot better and be able to do a lot more than I was doing. Life was getting tough. Life was getting, this is, I guess, not really a summary at this point. This is like the whole story. So we'll just carry on. So life was getting really tough. I thought because I had a cold that it was something to do with my lungs. I thought something was going on with my lungs, shortness of breath. I had a bit of a cough and stuff. I thought maybe I had some bronchitis or something. That's kind of what I went into the hospital thinking, probably something like that. Maybe heart, but I was hoping not heart. Shortness of breath and heart and what's it called? Angina. So angina is like a pressure right here. It's almost like a feeling of heartburn. I would get that whenever I walked, but I wouldn't get it whenever I worked out. I was weight training literally right up to about 4 or 5 days before I went to the hospital. I was serious, full-on weight training with this balloon aneurysm thing going on in my heart that could have ruptured at any time. And if it had ruptured, I would have been basically a goner. There's just nothing that they could have done. Like there would have been no way, unless they could cut me open right at that second and somehow fix it. It would have just been game over. So luckily that didn't happen. Because it was such a serious thing, I was basically just over a week after I went to the hospital, I was getting open heart surgery. And then, so I've been in there for quite a while because of the complications of the enlarged heart. I had to stay for quite a while. And right now, my heart is actually in a state of AFib. So one of the chambers is pumping normally, and the other one is kind of afibrillating. It's pumping kind of all over the place. So you got one that's doing like, say, 80 beats per minute or whatever, and the other one is just kind of flurrying. And so it makes me a little bit more tired. My heart isn't super efficient. The heart wasn't efficient to begin with. They let me out of the hospital even with this afibrillation because I was doing pretty good while going for walks. And they're going to see what they can do to take care. Well, there's always something they can do. The medications I'm on can improve it. They did something called a cardio version while I was at the hospital, and it took me out of afibrillation, but only for about 5 to 7 days. And then I went back to this AFib thing, which is an uneven heart rate. And it can go up to like, it can be anywhere, without medication, it was like anywhere from 100 to 140 at rest. And now it's closer to like 80 to 120 tops, but usually under 100. So anyways, I went for a walk today. I did a mile outside. First time I went for an actual walk outside in a long time. I get tired really easy, but not short of breath, which is great. I don't have that feeling of soreness in my stomach, like that feeling of pressure there. So that's good. I just get tired really quickly. I'm just basically in bed I couldn't get out of bed after the operation for almost 2 weeks. I was hooked up to so many machines and so many things were going in and out of me that I couldn't even get out of bed. Just basically I had a catheter, but if I had to take a dump, that's about the only time I got out of bed. So it was pretty brutal. Yeah, it was tough. So the last week or so, they took all the tubes out of me, and I was in there and I could move around and walk around, and that was it was just like an unreal feeling after being stuck in bed and immobile for so long. So that's what's been going on. I'm back. I can make videos. My office making videos doesn't get me too riled up. Doesn't get the heart rate too riled up. In terms of fitness stuff for the fitness guys, it's going to be it's part of my Road to Recovery series of videos. And the first part of that was staying alive, getting through the operation, getting out of the hospital. And now, I'm going to have another journey where I'm just basically going to be able to walk. Open heart surgery requires that they literally crack your chest open. They have to cut I can't even, I have trouble thinking, like my brain is just all over the place. But, the chest bone right here that holds your ribs together, they have to cut that right open and open everything up. So that's all wired together. And, even coughing and stuff hurts. I can't lift stuff. I can't do a lot of stuff. That won't heal up for 8 to 12 weeks properly. Could be 6 to 12 weeks. Hopefully I'm a fast healer and I heal up in about 8 weeks and I can start actually going to the gym, lifting light weights and whatnot. But for the time being, I'm allowed to walk, do that kind of stuff. It's kind of as much as I feel up to. I have to just pace myself. Don't do anything that's going to cause me to be short of breath. But doing videos for the Replica channel, we're going to start doing those. Hopefully I can make one this week, a gun video, because I got some new stuff. I had new stuff before I left that I really want to review, some pretty exciting products. So I want to at least start to get into those. I think I was going to do a preview video on some new stuff. I got to look back and see where I'm at, but there'll at least be a preview video of some new products. And then there'll be tabletop videos, review videos, field test shooting videos, and all that stuff. And again, for the getfitover40.com channel, it's just the road to recovery is what I'm going to be focusing on. And for some of you, that might be a great thing because I know I'm a little extreme, and a lot of you guys, girls out there, you watch my channel because you see this like 50-year-old guy, taking it to the next level, doing shows, getting super lean, and putting on quite a bit of muscle. That's not going to be me moving forward. I'm just not going to be able to do it. I just can't. I got to be careful with my heart from now on because you only get one heart, and my heart isn't working so good. And so I'm going to have to tone things down a little bit, just be a little bit more easygoing. Doesn't mean I won't be able to do a lot of the same things. It's just going to be at a lesser degree. But that might be good for the rest of you watching this show or watching this channel and the Get Fit Over 40 channel because, that's not you. You're not doing fitness shows. You're not trying to put on, 20 pounds of muscle. And so maybe we can, through this road to recovery journey, we can kind of get back into shape. If you've been out of shape, I'm going to be like, it's been a month and I've lost 15 pounds and I just look like, I'm going to use the term, but hopefully it doesn't offend anybody, but I look like a skinny little bitch right now. And that's just, a lot of people use it in the fitness industry. It's not derogatory. I don't mean it derogatory. I mean it just at me personally. So yeah, so I'm going to have some catching up to do. By the time I can finally work out, I'll probably be down to, like right now, I'm about 185. I was 200 before I went in the hospital. I wouldn't doubt if I get into the 170s by the time I'm ready to start weight training again. So it's going to be a journey to get back to some level of fitness and some level of muscle that I used to have prior to this whole situation. So hope you understand why I've been away, why I was gone. Believe me, it's nothing that I wanted to go through or happen to get some time off. I can tell you that much. So anyway, stay posted. I'll be making some Replica Airguns, gun videos, preview videos, and all that. And of course, some more getfitover40.com videos for you guys that want to take part in this journey, getting back to some level of fitness. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to replicaairguns.com and to getfitover40.com. Now, Replica Airguns is over on Vimeo. GetFitOver40 is over on YouTube. And of course, I got blogs. So I'll put links in the description for you to find those channels and those websites. All right. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.